This video is brought to you by the FarmerKlein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Purbeck 22. But before that, this video is brought to you by Alpha Tryon and Aaron Just. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Purbeck 22 map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let me read you a little bit of the description. Welcome to Purbeck 22. This has been converted from FS19 to FS22. This map includes 4 farms, arable and grain, a dairy farm, a sheep and chickens, and a piggery. This map includes multiple sell points, pubs, and an industrial park, 81 fields ranging from large to small, grass and arable, 37 farmlands, an animated slurry pit, multiple forests, carpentry, large BGA, stock market, and a grain mill. This map is making use of the Relight environment by SuchSneak. Also, we have the UK Geo by Distributed Simulations. Animal grazing is prepared for this map on PC players, and the map is making use of OxygenDavid Grass texture. Now, we'll also tell you that when you load this map up, it does have a required mod, even though it is not listed on the website. That required mod is the British farmhouse. So when you go to load this map up, if you do not have that in your mod folder, it will prompt you to get that downloaded. In addition to the British farmhouse, we are going to make use of the mods we typically use when we take a look at maps. They are additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. Now, we'll tell you that if you load this map up in any play mode, that is new farmer, farm manager, or start from scratch, you'll find the starting farm exactly how you see it here in new farmer mode with respect to the buildings. You own all the buildings that you're going to see in new farmer mode in all play modes. You own your starting machinery in all play modes. The only difference is you do not own any land in farm manager or start from scratch. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. This is a British map, and in keeping with British form, you're going to find lots of the fields are separated by hedges. We do have all the standard crops available to us in Farm Sim 22 on this map. And if we take a look at the lands area, you'll see we start out by owning Farmland ID 7, which includes the main starting farm and a grass pasture to the north of that. We also have Farmland ID 10. That includes a rather large grass pasture. It is separated here by a river. Then we have Farmland ID 9. So we have Farmland ID 37 and Farmland ID 17. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. Farmland lease screen is going to show us all of the viable farmlands. If we own the farmlands or if we do not, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any fields, which field or fields are included, then ultimately how much are those farmlands going to cost us. You can see that most of these farmlands are going to be including multiple fields. And then if we take a look at our field calculator screen, this is going to show us each individual field and how large each individual field is. So then you can go back and cross-reference the farmland lease screen to then get an idea of how much it's going to cost you to buy the particular farmland that is associated with the particular field that you are interested in. Let's go ahead and take a look at our crop counter. We do have a custom crop counter, just as the description said. Now notice the crop counter does not have sugarcane or cotton listed as being growable or harvestable. So there's no planting or harvest here. But we did see that up in the general PDA, that we do have sugarcane and cotton as available crops. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our prices screen and just see if we happen to be able to sell those. If for some reason we should happen to be able to play this map with the seasonal calendar disabled. Okay, if you play with seasonal calendar enabled, you're not going to be able to plant or harvest your sugarcane or cotton. But not all players play with seasonal calendar enabled, so can we sell? Let's take a look. I will tell you that yes, indeed, you can, in fact, sell all of the base game crops that are available to us in Farm Sim 22, including cotton and sugarcane. And that is the exact scenario that I portrayed there with respect to playing with seasonal calendar disabled, it's going to allow you to use cotton and sugarcane. We do have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk. We also have sell points for silage, hay, straw, and grass. Now, with respect to the base game production items, we do indeed have the ability to sell all of the base game production items that are also available to us in Farm Sim 22. There is one thing to note, though. We do not have the ability to sell or to buy bulk lime, nor do we have a stone crusher pre-placed on the map. So if you are playing with stones enabled, you will need to put down your own stone crusher. With respect to the Platinum expansion, if you wish to use any of the Platinum expansion production items, you will need to also put down your own Platinum expansion sell point that will allow you to then sell those particular items. And if you are playing with pumps and hoses enabled, you will be able to sell your separated manure. Now, with respect to our vehicle overview, we got a decent list of starting equipment. It is all new. None of it is leased. We own it all. And then we come down here to animal areas. You can see that at the start, we own a cow pasture, a cow barn, a pigsty, sheep pasture, chicken pasture, and horse barn. Now, while we do not own the specific farms that all of these animal areas are coming up for, we do own the animal areas because they are listed here in the screen. We also do not have any animals at the start. This map does make use of contracts. We own the Carpentry, Cereal Factory, and BGA at the start. In fact, those are all three of the production items that are built into the map. So starting out, we own all the production that is pre-placed. This map also is not making use of the collectibles system. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet of tractors. We've got the Steyr 8150 small tractor, as well as the Massey Ferguson 3707AL. We've got the Dudesfar Topliner 4090H harvester that is paired up with the 4090H grain header. And as we typically see, we also have the 4090H header trailer for that header harvester combo. We've got our 2017 pickup truck, the Klaas Karat 140TD trailer. We've got the Servo 25 plow, as well as the Terreno 3FX cultivator. We've got the Nordstein HK 25 NS 3030 seeder and power hair combo, the Presea 4500 2C super planter. We've got the Kuhn GMD 4411 side mower, Pottinger Alpine Hit 4.4H tedder. We've got the Samez Z2 840H windrower, the Impress 125F round baler. We have the Quickie Q3M front loader for one of our small tractors, and that is going to be paired up with the manure fork. And that is all of our starting equipment. Taking a look at our mods and DLCs, you will see that this map does not include any custom vehicles or implements that are part of the map. Let's go back and take a look at our precision farming soil map. This map is making use of the Alpine soil map that is a part of the precision farming mod. As you can see, to the center of the map, we have a lot of silty clay. To the south, we have loam and sandy loam. Then to the north, we have a mixture of loamy sand, sandy loam, and loam. Let's go ahead and take a look around. Here we have the required mod, the British farmhouse. So we have our sleep trigger located here by the door. And then we have our wardrobe trigger located off to the side here. We have a fuel tanker. Currently it is empty. And then the rest of the farm is basically across the street. So the first thing we're going to come up to is our cow barn. We've got our milk trigger. We have our delivery point for our cows, 100 cows in the pasture. Around the side over here, we have our slurry point. And then we also have our farm silo. So we have our dump point and our fill point located right there. Now, if we make our way back, we're going to have to go through the cow pasture building in order to get to the other triggers. We see our harvester and trailer in there. And And then inside here we have a trigger for our manure. And then we have our food trough trigger, and our straw trigger is going to be inside of here. Coming back, we've got 2 silage bunkers over here to the right. Now, with respect to, can the farms be customizable? The answer is pretty straightforward. For the most part, no. They're not customizable. Probably 99% of the buildings you're going to find at all of the possible player farms on this map are permanently affixed to the map. They cannot be sold. With respect to this farm in particular, we can sell the farmhouse. Okay. We can also sell the fuel tank. It is an FS22 asset. We can sell... When I tried, I could sell one of these silage bunkers. But the other one sticks around. I can't get rid of this one. I can only get rid of one. And that is pretty much all that you can sell over here at the starting farm. So overall, we're not going to be doing much with respect to customizing these farmyards. Now, for some people, it doesn't matter. For other people, it does matter. So I always want to point it out. And with respect to our scoring system, this map is going to get knocked down a pretty good bit because of the fact that it's all built in. Is that going to affect your gameplay? It's going to depend on the player. Ultimately, it's going to depend on the player. Now, something else with respect to the farm here and other buildings on the map, and we're going to go ahead and bring it up here. Buildings where appropriate are using the new texture technique. A lot of the buildings on the map are not using the new texture technique, and a lot of the buildings on the map are bringing forward rather old, low-res textures from Farm Sim past. And I don't want to really be the guy, but I think I might have to. Let's retire some of these, because they don't look so hot, especially when they're right next to things like these FS22 vehicles, or right next to things like the FS22 implements or other FS22 placeables. It really, really makes these buildings stand out like sore thumbs. I mean, if you only ever see them from away, like from back here, they're okay. But when you're going to be interacting with them or things up close to them, then they really start to stand out. Let's go ahead and get started with our fly around. And I will tell you before we get started with that also, we're going to find during the fly around that we have areas on this map where we have power poles, utility poles running through fields, running through grass areas. There's a mixture of power poles that have collisions, and then there's some that do not. I found both on this map when I was doing my pre-video testing. So be cautious. You may be able to drive through some of these poles when you're doing hired help work or just doing it yourself. And then you're going to find other areas of the map where those utility poles do indeed have collisions. Now, before we do our fly around, I do want to come back here to the PDA, and I do want to do a rundown of the animal areas and how much they're going to cost you, or the animal farms. Again, we all know that in new farmer mode, we already own farmland ID 7, which is the main dairy farm. That is going to be 7.79 acres in size, $189,000. In addition to that, we have a cow pasture. It's over here at Field 47 or Farmland ID 4. That can be bought for $149,000. That is 6.14 acres in size, and it also includes fields 47, 46, and 52. There is a sheep and chicken farm that is just to the east of the starting farm. We can buy that. That's Farmland ID 32. That is 19.58 acres in size and $427,000. $1,000. We do have a BGA on the map. It is located right here at Farmland ID 37 in New Farmer mode. That is pre-owned at the start, but in any other play modes, you can buy that for $370,000. That is 30.51 acres in size. Then we have a pig farm down here to the south of the main farm. That is going to be Farmland ID 25. That is buyable for $84,000 and 4.33 acres in size. Then we have a horse barn that is right across from the pig area. That is Farmland ID 19. It is $123,000 to buy and is 12.67 acres in size. And that should be all of the other animal areas, aka player farms, and then also the BGA. Let's go ahead and take the skies and take a little bit of a look around. Again, we have our starting farm right here. And the farmland we own at the start is right there. And then we have a farmhouse. As I mentioned at the start of the video, this is a UK style map. And as such, you can see we have hedges separating fields. We also have fences in various places. And depending on where you go, you can have some rather scenic areas as well. So let's head over here to the cow pasture that's in field 47. So we have our animal buy trigger located right there by the gate. And then we have our food trough, our water trough, and our milk trigger located up here by the stone wall. This area is not sellable. It would be nice to see this as a sellable animal area. So if you didn't want to have this as a cow pasture, you could make use of it as just a standard grass area, but it is not sellable. So you will have the triggers there all the time. And here we have a grain sell point. And we're running along the edge of the map at this point. What UK map would not be complete without an old castle up on a hillside. So we have that going on right here. We have our carpentry shop. Here we have our animal dealer. Another grain sell point, and traffic is just motoring down the road. Watch out. Here we have a farm, and it appears to have some of our machinery at it. And we do own this at the start. We have our cloth dealer. We're going to be coming back to there. We have a cereal factory. Remember, this is one of the 3 functional production areas on the map. We also have a fuel point. And a grain sell point. Circling, we have then the horse farm. And then right across the street from that, or right across the railroad tracks and the bridge, we have the pig farm. Now, I do not believe that the train is drivable. I don't believe that we have a train sell point. We'll make our way over to the BGA. So as far as production goes, we have built in a BGA, a carpentry, and the cereal factory. So we are going to be giving the map a full point with respect to having production built in or areas set aside for such. If you own the biogas plant, you can sell the biogas plant, except the decorative elements remain. So the decorative elements like these trash bins or rubbish bins, whatever you want to call them, they're going to remain. We have our trash containers there. This all remains. But the BGA itself goes away. The light towers remain. So as long as you can build your own BGA and work around the stuff that remains, then you're good to go. Now, another very interesting point that I discovered during my initial run through of the map is this is a silage bunker. A rather nice covered silage bunker with really nice lights inside. You can sell the silage bunker, but there's a little caveat. The roof over the silage bunker does not go away. So if you sell a silage bunker, you've got a floating building. So I would suggest leaving that silage bunker where it's at. Now let's go back up on the hill where we have the sheep farm and the chicken farm. And then that will kind of complete our aerial tour of the map. We'll come back to the Cloth dealer, get our Mahindra, and do a little bit of driving. So here we have right down the street from the starting farm, which is right there. We have this farm area, which includes the chicken coop across the street from this dairy operation. And as I said, you're going to find these utility poles throughout the map. And some of these will have collisions, like that one. And some of them will not. So this particular pasture has, our meadow, that utility pole has collisions. Let's go over here to this one. And I'm pretty sure this one does not. Because originally I thought these utility poles did not have collisions. Based on the fact that I just walked through that or flew through that one. So be very cautious. Depending on the land that you buy, your AI helper may run into the poles and obviously not be able to work through the poles. And then on other areas, then your AI worker will be able to do that. Possibly when the map gets updated. If the map gets updated, then that will be corrected and we'll have some consistency with how the utility poles are configured. Given that this is a UK map, I would probably suggest erring on the side of caution with respect to equipment sizes. That is always a good thing to do. So we have our vehicle dealer. Go ahead and get our Mahindra, and then we have our workshop trigger located right here. It is a dealer trigger, so you will have the ability to repaint, customize, and sell your implements and your vehicles. Not a giant area for your stuff to spawn in at, but that's okay because I really don't think you're going to be buying a whole lot of large machinery on this map. You're going to be limited with respect to the gate sizes of getting out of here, and then also the narrowness of the roads, and the fact that we've got traffic means you're going to either have to turn off traffic or deal with traffic on half of your road network. All right, let's go ahead and drive around, check these things out. So here at the industrial park, we do have our cereal factory. We saw from the flyover portion of the video. We have our pallet point here back, as well as our dump point and our interactive trigger. Then around the back, we also have a grain sell point. Let's go ahead and see how this one is identified on the PDA. It is Gateway Park. To the left of the industrial park, to the right of the vehicle shop, we do have a fuel point. Located right here. And then we have the map edge, so be very, very cautious about that. In addition to our scoring system, including sell points for all base game crops, production items, and animal outputs, we are going to be giving the map a full point there as well. This is farmland that we own at the start. And we do have some machinery down here at the start. And then with respect to, are the farms customizable? We already alluded to this a little bit, but all of these buildings are all pre-placed at pretty much every farm. So there is not going to be a whole lot of farm customization. And as such, this map is going to take a pretty big hit. We're going to give the map a quarter of a point, just 0.25 of a point with respect to can the farms be customizable. Now, if you are the type of player that doesn't really care about customizing your farm, you're okay with it, you like playing UK maps, you know a UK map usually has the farms built in and is non-customizable. That seems to be a trend with UK and Irish maps. So maybe it's not that big of a deal to you. That's fine. Then just add 3/4 of a point to my score at the end, and there you go. Right? That would be as if we didn't really care if the farm wasn't customizable. For others, it's a very big deal. So I'm going to point it out. Part of our standard scoring metric is the farm customizable? Yes or no? For the most part on this map, it is not. That is probably by design. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's up to you to decide. And just down from that farmland that we own at the start, we have then the horse area. This will hold 8 horses. We have our food trigger and a straw trigger located right here. And then we make our way around and through this little riding area. Jumping arena to then get to some more implement vehicle storage. Let's get that gate opened up. I do know that we haven't looked at the build mode yet. Overall, there's not a lot going on with this map and build mode. So you're not missing out too terrible much, but we are going to do a run through that on here in a little bit. So we've got another grain sell point here. Continue down the road. Better get on the right side of the road. Or wrong side of the road for me. Otherwise I'm going to get plowed into by some locals. We have our animal dealer. Now the animal dealer appears to just have a dealer buy trigger. We don't have a bale sell point that is oftentimes accompanied with the animal dealer. There we have that. Then I think we have one more point of interest up here before we have to double back. This map does not have a road that is circular. So there's a lot of kind of one-directional roads. So you're going to have to be doubling back a lot, which is going to make this map feel larger than it truly is. Because you're doing a lot of go one way, get what you done, turn around, and come all the way back. So we've got our wood drop-off point. We have our wood cell trigger here at the sawmill, my sawmill carpentry shop. We have our pallet spawn point for our furniture. And then our interactive icon at the front door. Still have first person driving as we make our way back over to the pig farm. Now, with respect to hedges having collisions, let's go find out. Yes, they do. They do indeed. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I hit a fence. Actually, we need to go over here to the BGA. Looking at the road network, I don't think we can get to the BGA other than through this direction. And once we get to the BGA, we'll take a look at build mode. Because there's something going on with a placeable silo. I don't think we're supposed to be able to buy it. So I want to caution you on that. Glad that turns in. So we have a bale cell point here at the BGA. Then we have our biogas plant. So of course we have our digester, interactive icon. We have our dump point for slurry, our pickup point for digestate. We already talked about the silage bunker over here. So let's go ahead and pull up build mode. And under build mode, we do have a shed that we can place down. It's very similar, if not identical, to the base game small garage. Now, under silos, there is a placeable silo here. But note, right, we don't see anything. We don't see visually anything. Actually, it's way up there. Way up there, and you see it? Up in the sky, directly above my cursor, is something, right? Now, if I do this, you don't see it. If I place it, all you get is the wireframe. So something is a little wonky with that. But as best I can tell, it is this. Just listed as a mod, and it's all a little wonky. So be cautious. Don't buy that. At least not until it's updated and corrected. We do have a fuel tank. Again, it's pretty much the same as that one. No custom tools. We do have our British farmhouse, which is listed as a required mod when you load the map, but not listed on the website. We have our production here, but they are in essence the same as the base game items. No custom sell points, greenhouses, orchards, or generators. Our animals, we do have the custom cow pasture that is in the meadow. Right there, you can see the triggers for that. You can see the animal buy trigger located right there by the Mahindra. So you could, if you found a nice flat spot on this map, not sure if you're going to find one, but if you did find a nice flat spot on the map, you put that down. We have then the custom cow area or horse area as well. We have standard decorative items. And then as far as our ground textures, fairly standard ground textures and plants that are available on the map. I think we've already mentioned it with respect to building textures using new texture technique as well as ground textures. We're going to give the map a half a point because a lot of the buildings at the main farm, a lot of the buildings scattered around the map are not using the new texturing technique as best as I can determine from visually looking at things. Now we do have houses like this, where we have a fair number of these houses that do have the new windowing technique, so that is also helping out with the ultimate score a little bit there. But overall, there's a fair number of buildings that are just not using that new technique. Let me see if I can get up here to my sheep and chicken farm. From here. I think we can. I wasn't going to make that corner. At that speed, I had to bail out. This road gets narrow, man, and curvy. Curvy. Glad there's no traffic on this map, or on this road. Okay, welcome to the chicken area. So we have our buy chicken trigger. 30 chickens in all. We have our food trough for our chickens and our spawn point for our eggs. Inside the gate here. And then we have a classic tight farm here. Classic British farm. Very tight. We have a silage bunker. 200 sheep. We have our food trough. Now let's see if we can quickly find our wool spawn point. I did not preemptively go look for that. Oh, goody. Right here. Love it when things are marked. Right? That's going to play into the score. Love it when things are marked. I think what we can do is we can go past our starting farm, or close to our starting farm, and then make our way down to the pig area. Yep. Super narrow lanes. And these types of maps typically appeal to a very specific player. Right? Got a nice area here for placing additional things, additional farm area here, production, whatever you might want. Here's the back end of that pig farm. And here we go. Let's just sneak in here. We got a silage bunker. Pretty sure you can sell that silage bunker, but that's pretty much going to be the limit of what you're going to be selling here at this farm. We have our dump point for our food. Deer, get out of here. This is for pigs. 300 pigs in this building. Then we have our slurry point. And there's our pig. Now, the only point of interest that we had not really looked at yet is way up here. Right? We looked at this for a little bit. Let's just jump up here. Let's buy our cow. 150 cows in the open pasture. And then we have our milk, water, and food. Now, based on the change in grass here, I'm going to say that your cows are only going to roam within this shorter area of grass. So I don't think they're going to take up the entire area of this meadow. Then we have Mole Valley. Mole Valley is the final grain sell point here on Purbeck 22. So overall, with respect to our scoring system, the last thing that we are going to take a look at here is triggering interactive areas being clearly marked. We're going to give the map a full point there with respect to triggering interactive areas being clearly marked. So that's going to net the map a score of 3.75 out of 5. And again, if having pre-built farms is not that big of a deal to you, then just go ahead and add 3/4 of a point and give the map a 4.5 out of 5, because that would then be where it's at. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below with respect to this map. Did you play it back in FS17? Are you looking to add it to your playlist in FS22? What do you think of the changes between the 19 and 22 variant? And does it... Oh, I got taken out by DHL. Does it really matter to you if the farm's built in or not? If it's permanently built in or not? And until next time, happy farming. I think I'm gonna need an ice pack. My neck's sore from that.